Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Brahmanandam Param Sukhadam Kevalam Jnana Murtim Dvandvatitam Gagan Sadrisham Tattvamasyadi Lakshyam Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahi Sadgurum Tam Namami. Om. Adorations to Sadguru, who is Brahman, the giver of supreme bliss, embodiment of pure consciousness, one without a second, vast as the ether, infinite, eternal, beyond the three gunas and their modifications, the supreme preceptor. Yoga Vasishtha, in Vairagya Prakarana, we're coming towards section 6. Sri Rama has been visiting various pilgrimage centers. He is just 16-year-old. Prior to 16, he was 15-year-old. So he started journey when he was 15-year-old. And the brief but colorful description in Yoga Vasishtha of visiting various pilgrimage centers, the names of the pilgrimage centers. He gave a lot of charity, but I'm skipping them. Now at this stage, as a result of all his visiting pilgrimage centers, he came back extremely reflective. He couldn't figure out what's the purpose of life, because he found everything transient and found people are delighting in a dull-wit mind that he couldn't bear it. Right at that time, Vishwamitra, sage Vishwamitra, who had been practicing yajna, special spiritual practices for promoting Daivi Sampat, divine qualities in human beings, bringing out the latent spirit of friendliness. Vishwamitra literally means friendliness towards the entire universe. If you become open-minded, then it's easy to understand that you are related to the whole universe in a profound way. And it's not an impartial type of relationship that we're related to Miami. The earth in Miami likes you. But not related to another place, Alaska, etc. I'm joking, but mind that views one's own personality and near and dear ones in such a close manner that you are surprised when you see squirrels very happy within little holes, cracking nuts. You walk by with a proud mind. But there are people who look at human beings. I'm joking. Try to understand. Human beings are also doing the same thing. So Vishwamitra, following the storyline, each time he commences a spiritual project, yajna, demons disturb his yajna. They pour filthy things in his sacrificial fire. And Vishwamitra, with his intuitive power, came to realize that God, Lord Vishnu, has incarnated in the form of Rama and his brothers. That he should get his help, Rama, Lakshmana. As at the same time, Vishwamitra also understood that he is related to that divine plot of allowing Rama to conquer Ravana, the source of all demoniac forces. So, with that in view, Vishwamitra approached King Dasharatha, coming to storyline, and he was welcomed by the king and all the royal personalities attending on the king, even Sej Vasishtha, they all welcomed Vishwamitra. And King Dasharatha said, "O sage, let me know what's the purpose of your visit, and I will fulfill your purpose." At this stage, let me give out some insight. Rama, while this is happening, Vishwamitra has not arrived, he is planning to arrive. Rama, in the meantime, as a result of all his pilgrimage center, visits and satsanga, has become so reflective that he has forgotten to nourish his body, becoming thinner and thinner, weight loss, and he is feeling extremely miserable. Spiritual movement is based upon the foundation of dispassion. Dispassion or vairagya. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. Vairagya, generally the mind understands as developing a kind of frustrated sense towards objects of the world. Things that were so promising and they have failed to give you your expected result. You have laddu in your hand and you expect your delight your tongue, but it happens to be full of salt. Now, think of the state of mind. That's the way vairagya begins, but it is not healthy state of vairagya. Healthy state of vairagya, it opens the window of your heart to discover who am I, what is the goal. Nothing else pleases you. You are not pleased with things that are not going to be permanent. You don't want to stay a kid. When that state comes, and that type of eagerness develops, that's called vairagya in a healthy way. So Rama's vairagya is not ordinary frustration. People become vairagis. Generally, cremation ground is considered the best way to develop vairagya. Kalsbashad vairagya. All people become dispassionate when that happens in the family. Someone dies, etc. But that dispassion doesn't last much. That real dispassion is not that. And that point is brought out in Rama's personality. As the mind is purified, the world of sense enjoyments is unable to please the mind. The intellect yearns to solve the riddle of existence. This stage is marked by grief in the mind of an aspirant. But that grief is not ordinary grief. Ordinary grief is unhealthy. It is going to lead you to abnormality of mind. There are various words of the medical science. I am not using them. But a sensitive, spiritually sensitive mind develops a healthy vairagya. But unlike sentimental grief arising out of petty causes, this grief is a precursor of an auspicious movement leading to self-realization. Yoga Vasishtha portrays the spiritual movement in an ideal aspirant. Rama becomes the ideal aspirant. That is to say, every aspirant must follow that ideal. Rama is in you. And your destiny is to attain Ramarajya. Don't leave Ramarajya only for one historical Rama. It is for every soul. If that is not understood, then you have read the whole Ramayana and you don't know to whom Sita was married. सारी रामायण पढ़ गए, सीता किसकी जोर? Someone very devotionally listens to the whole story of Ramayana. And then he turns to his teacher and says, "It's one little puzzle. To whom was Sita married?" Let me see, you listen. Another way, you read the entire Ramayana, and your mind says, "Oh, Rama was so great. No one has ever attained that level, and no one will ever do." That's not the purpose of Ramayana. You are doing the same thing. Whole Ramayana you have read, and you didn't get the purpose of presenting the Ramayana to you. Rama is your inner essence. And that, again, I'm just extending this point. In all religions, people make that type of mistake. Their mind is constantly fascinated by the glory of one who has promoted the religion, glory of Christ, glory of Buddha, glory of... But the mind is fascinated by that, but at the same time, towards one's own self, the mind continues to hold a degraded view. I am not so fortunate. Oh, they were the divine people. I'm the petty little worm. If you do that, you are not following neither Jesus nor Buddha. And it is not humility. This point is brought out to thee. When Rama asks Hanuman, "How am I related?" Hanuman says, "Deha buddhyatu dasoham." To the extent I am body, I am a channel of your energy. I am your slave. Jiva buddhya tadanshaka. But to the extent I am a soul, I am a ray of God. All the power you have is expressing through the ray. And ultimately, Atma buddhya tavaiva. But the level of the soul, I am you. If you have that understanding, you have studied Ramayana. Ramos, you are Rama. Rama alone exists. Don't begin to exist other than Rama. Then you will be classified among demons. I'm joking. But unlike sentimental griefs arising out of petty causes, this grief is a precursor of an auspicious movement leading to self-realization. Yoga Vashita portrays the spiritual movement in an ideal aspirant, Sri Rama, in order to present the wealth of spiritual wisdom before mankind. So Rama is just symbolizing you, each of you. And teachings are not just being given just to special Rama, but to anyone who listens to the teaching. Section 6. We are entering this story. King Dasharatha waited patiently for the opportune conditions when Sri Rama might be freed from his misery. That's being reflective day by day, and King Dasharatha doesn't know what to do to Rama. And it so happened that sage Vishwamitra was performing austerity in a nearby forest. And that point I have explained to you. Vishwamitra, who is performing a yajna for the well-being of all. But each time he performs, demons come, disturb his performance. And by his intuition, he comes to know Rama is divine incarnation. To summarize this process, King Vishwamitra, rather sage Vishwamitra, comes to King Dasharatha. The advent of sage Vishwamitra was announced to King Dasharatha by his gatekeepers. The sage shone with divine lust due to his asceticism. The very surroundings beamed with the light of spirituality emanating from the sage. Here also you must understand, when we talk about light from the sages, don't think it will serve your electrical expense. In other words, I'm joking, it's not a physical light. Otherwise, sages will do the satsanga without any electrical illumination. Again, subtle point to understand. Everyone has an aura around. Depending upon your three gunas, if you sit with anger, it is not hidden within you. If you have taken a lot of garlic in your mouth, it expels your garlics out of your nose. You sit with anger, you are irradiating an aura. All are not very sensitive. Some people are in different ways. And similarly, if you are very sattvic, mentally very joyous, full of compassion, love, or to the extent you have that, you are radiating that type of peaceful aura. If you are led by a very profound involvement of doing good to the universe, that aura becomes more intense. Sagely personalities maintain that aura. But it is not recognized by everybody. Those who are sensitive, they understand. And whether you are sensitive or not, that aura exerts its influence on the whole world, just as is described in a poetic way. Bas basanta vat loka hite charanta. Just like a spirit of spring season. You don't see the spirit. But look at the forest. Every little twig, every little leaf is showing a kind of a joy caused by the spirit of spring. This is the best definition of what enlightenment does to a person and does to the world. Let me go back now to the storyline. King Dasharatha bowed his head at the feet of Vishwamitra and greeted him with soft and sweet words. O sage, you have graced me in the same way as the sun graces a lake full of lotus blossoms. I offer you as a gift whatever you desire. Please command and I will obey. Pleased with the hospitality of the king, sage Vishwamitra said, O king, you are descended from the noble race. Please listen to what I have to say to you. He describes the predicament of how the Rakshasas obstruct his performance. I have come to you seeking refuge. I am in distress and I require your help for the unobstructed performance of the yajna. Your son Sri Ramchandra is verily a lion for destroying the elephant-like demons. Protected by me, he will destroy all the terrible demons, and I will be able to perform my sacrifice unobstructed. In section 8, having listened to the request of sage Vishwamitra, King Dasharatha lost his wits and was confounded. He spoke in a pleading tone. In a storyline, it follows its suspense and all that. A similar parable is told. First, let me see. Dasharatha was so pleased that Vishwamitra had come. So pleased that he was going to ask something very profound for everybody's good. But when he hears what Vishwamitra has to ask, his whole mind changes. That reminds me of this parable that a spiritual preacher went to a village, and in the temple, in the old time, temple used to give residence. The whole night the spiritual teacher spends in the temple. Now, early in the morning, what happens is in that temple, people go there very early, as early as 3 o'clock in the night. And they begin to shout, "Oh God, we have been praying to you and you are not listening. When will you come, give your darshan? When will you take all this pain away? When will you give us liberation?" They shout. And this preacher, coming from elsewhere, other villages, couldn't find time to rest. So he played a trick. He hid himself behind this statue. And early in the morning, when all people had come and started shouting, each one expressing his demand and expectations and pouring down his problems, and he makes his voice a little heavenly. resounding. Says, it's good news for all of you. It's breaking from the heaven. Very soon, the gate of heaven is opening and all of you are going to be taken away. No one will be left behind. Each one looked at the other. I have to prepare food for my son who has to go to school. And I have to visit someone. And I said, I have to go to attend to this business. And they all ran away. The moral of the story, every aspirant faces that. Listening to spirituality, one side of mind says, yes, must attain liberation. Another side of the mind, if you attain liberation by tomorrow, what will happen to this? What will happen to that? So, delay it. When you are viewing spirituality in this manner, you have not come to a mature state. And that type of contradiction that exists in the mind has to move away. It will not move away quick, but as you evolve, as you practice integral yoga, gradually it will begin to move away. And your eagerness to attain enlightenment will not be like developing ordinary stress in your mind. It will be of a totally different nature. Having listened to the request of sage Vishwamitra, King Dasharatha lost his wits and was confounded. He spoke in a pleading tone. O sage, Sri Rama is not yet 16 years of age. I do not see that he is fit for fighting the terrible demons. I shall myself fight for you with my vast army. And I'm summarizing you. Lately, Sri Rama has been undergoing mental distress. He has grown weak and emaciated. He doesn't eat or drink properly. And he goes on talking about how much fortune he has amassed and all that. O sage, I cannot send Rama with you. He is tender in age, tender in body, and an unskilled fighter. Further, please tell me who the demons are. And so he goes on detailing, if it is Ravana, if it is Meghanada, Maricha, even I will not be able to help you. But they are unconquerable. King Dasharatha's eyes were full of tears as he refused the request of Vishwamitra. At this, the sage grew angry and said, O king, it doesn't befit a king born in Raghu's line to render his words false. How is it that you are not able to keep your promise? I will go back as I came. As Vishwamitra grew angry within, the earth quaked. The gods in heavens were terrified, knowing not what might be the intention of the mighty sage. Then sage Vasishtha, in order to appease the anger of Vishwamitra, spoke, O king, you are endowed with excellent virtues and prosperous conditions. It does not befit thee to relinquish your dharma. In brief, Vasishtha tells Dasharatha that let Rama be brought, and just as nectar is protected by gods in the heavenly world, So Sri Rama will be protected by the might and power of sage Vishwamitra. And Sri Vishwamitra is endowed with great skill in archery and knows the use of all divine weapons. Whenever you hear in the scriptures about divine weapons and archery, archery is practice of concentration, allowing your mind to become focused. Your thoughts are arrows. Your mind becomes the bow, or rather the quiver. You don't shiver under the quiver. You learn the art of controlling the thoughts and directing the thought to the right direction. And in this process, spiritual insights are special astras, special divine weapons described in the terms of bombs, atom bombs type of. When you read the scriptures, you are proud that the sages had atomic bombs. But that is not really the purpose of the scripture. It's allegorical. The real power lies in your spiritual insight. Spiritual insight that drives away forces of darkness. Strength that enables a person to be free of misery. Strength that allows people to breathe in an atmosphere of peace. Shitalamand Sugandh. In other words, real strength lies in promoting goodness, enabling people to become brothers, friends, universal brotherhood. There lies real strength. And all these spiritual insights that promote that strength, they are like big weapons. In a storyline, you are all given the whole picture of battles and arrows being discharged and all that. That we will take up later. Hearing these words of Sage Vasishtha cooled King Dasharatha. King Dasharatha, pleased at heart, asked his gatekeeper to bring Sri Rama in haste. Quickly to bring Rama into the palace. And gatekeeper goes to Rama and comes back without Rama. And he began to tell the condition of Rama. O king, Sri Rama lives brooding over the vanity of objects. He is tormented by worries and anxieties. And his body has become very thin. He delights no more in the objects of the world. He utters words like, these delights are painful, perishable, illusory. He is not attached to any enjoyment. And so forth. He describes the mind of Rama. Having heard the conditions of Sri Rama, the great sage Vishwamitra said, if such is the case of Rama, then bring him into my presence. Dispassion that dawns on the basis of discrimination and the all-pervading pain that is experienced through wisdom will surely bring forth a glorious fruit. In other words, if you have developed healthy vairagya and viveka, vairagya and insight, as I have already explained, into perishable nature of all pleasures, and viveka, a discriminative understanding, what is real and what is false. When you see so many reflections of the sun, And also look up to the sky and see the sun. If you have both in view, what is happening to reflected suns should not upset your mind. Just giving you one little sample. That's called discrimination. We look at the world, things are perishable, people are struggling day by day. But in spite of all that is happening in the realm of mind, intellect, senses. Pure consciousness remains untouched. Just like energy flows through your cell phone. And so many things happen in your cell phone. Many people are busy whole day and night walking. So many things have happened. But the energy that has gone through the cell phone remains untouched. So many things you experience through your nervous system. To you, they seem all real. But try to understand, all the reality depends upon a little mass of brain in your skull. If someone were to alter pressure of the blood centers, all your experiences will go haywire. So based upon that, your own nervous system, you have come to understand a vast world. And in that world, you are looking to grasp something and stay with it and feel I have become successful, happy. This is called Bhava Vyadhi, disease of the world process. And Rama is presenting this topic of Bhava Vyadhi and how to cure it. In brief, Sri Rama was brought into the presence of Vishwamitra. As he approached the royal court of Dasharatha, he shone like the moon, showering delight in all hearts. Though young and strong, he was calm and serene. As he approached King Dasharatha, Sri Rama bowed his gracious head at the father's lotus feet. Then he bowed at the feet of sage Vasishtha, Vishwamitra and others, implying a spiritual aspirant becomes a very personification of courteous mannerism. The idea the world is false should not make your mind kind of a bully. What should I do if the world is false? I am the only one real. Same teaching, not well assimilated, creates trouble. But again and again, Ramayana and Yoga Vasishtha, they remind you, Rama, who is the personification of God, does not express his greatness in his movement, in his manners. He expresses his humility. I'm talking about egoistic greatness. He doesn't express that vanity, pride, but rather utter humility. Giving you a simple sample, being a good aspirant does not free you of good mannerisms. Sage Vishwamitra asked, O Rama, what is the cause of your delusion? What desire do you entertain? Renounce the tremor of your eyes and tell me. And section 12 begins more directly into Yoga Vasishtha teachings. Thus asked, Sri Rama humbly replied, O sage, I have been brought up in the palace of King Dasharatha as his dearest son. I grew up in the midst of affection and tenderness. Again, giving you an idea that healthy aspiration develops in a person not because you have been subjected to very tragic situations or big frustrations. People do change by frustration. But in a very healthy movement, it occurs in a very gentle way. The great example is Buddha himself, born in a royal family. From his very babyhood, he didn't have to suffer for lack of money or whatsoever. He had all the royal luxuries available for him. And yet, in spite of all that, he develops profound dispassion. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, sees. Being born is full of pain. Becoming aged, that's pain, and so forth. Rama explains himself. With the permission of my father, I visited important pilgrimage centers, and they have purified my heart. As purity of wisdom grew, I developed distaste for the objects of the world. My confidence in the objects was shaken. I found them to be snares spread before the souls to entrap and delude them, and thus to lead them to hellish conditions. That's referring to sense pleasure, the world that captivates the minds of people for eat, drink, be merry. Now the same mind that is captivated, if purity enters in the heart, the same world now will begin to reveal its ugly nature. Just to put it in a very simple way, see how many people are drawn to drugs and drinking. But those who are mature people, caring people, they see those who are enjoying and laughing and they're gone into transcendental meditation. Mature ones find all this degrading. They are being sucked up by a terrible disease of addiction. Similarly, when you look at the world with a sensitive mind, things that are enjoyed by the world and highlighted by all over the world, things that are highlighted, if they do not serve the purpose of your life, then you are just wasting your life. But when you waste your life, it is not ordinary wastage. You are creating such negative karmas that will put you in painful situations beyond your imagination. You may say, thank God, I have to live only for 100 years. That is not so. You move from body to body, led by karma. Rama explains, people continue to run after the mirage of pleasure, only to find themselves wandering on the burning sands with increasing thirst and fatigue. They become miserable, distressed, scorched, and tormented. Alas, it is desire itself that shines in the objects and lends value to them. Not knowing this, men rush to acquire them with feverish expectations and then come to immense grief This point we have explained and try to understand that. Objects are dear to you not because that sweetness comes from the object, but because you have developed that desire, a kind of concept that if I have that object, I will be happy. So that desire puts a polish on the object without your knowing. And in that polish, you see your face reflected, and you like your face. Figure that out. But the same object, things change, karmas change, attitude changes. The same object that was so loving in the morning, by the evening, you want to get it out of sight, out of mind. It may not be that quick, but whatever. The object is the same. Nothing has changed. So all enjoyment in the world is based on objects and your concepts. And nothing, therefore, is permanent. Nothing is enduring. All is perishable. Though not literally sold, yet we are, as it were, sold and enslaved by the objects of the world. When we say object of the world, you have to understand in a very broad way. If you desire to be a boss in an office, that desire to be a boss is a big object. You desire to be rule over others. That ruling sentiment is object. So when you say object, don't bring in your mind the people. First stage to understand even people, relatives, friends, near and dear ones, even your body, they all come in the classification of objects. In other words, if you are not liberated, your whole life is flowing in the realm of objects. It's termed as padartha. The objects enfold you in the realm of your ego, your intellect, your mind, your senses, all are enveloped by padartha, object. Enlightenment is padartha bhavana, the entire world of matter. I'm using matter in a very broad way. Moves away, nothing matters. Instinctively, whenever there is a problem, people negate two things. Never mind, doesn't matter. Instinctively, you know the answer. If you understand matter is false, doesn't matter. You know, the mind itself is not a reality, it's like a cloud. A cloud doesn't have any reality. When all these are fulfilled, mind blows away. So therefore, never mind. When you settle with this understanding, neither mind nor matter, Yogbhashya uses padartha bhavana, the entire world is described as matter, moves away. As forest stags, deer, fall into caverns in the wilderness and realize later their miserable predicament, so we have fallen into the ditch of the world process, and we continue to move from one ditch to another. We kick one bucket to another. Seeing this mighty storm of delusion shattering the mountains and trees of human existence, I find it a wonder that there is no one wise enough to devise a remedy for this calamity that has befallen all. Just as a wildfire consumes the hollow trees, so these wild desires consume our much adored, bodied, perhaps not as visibly, and yet more inevitable. Who shall fight these cruel robbers who steal away the pearls of Atman, the self, and reduce us to a miserable plight, groping in darkness and delusion? All this has to be well understood. They are giving you a picture of the predicament, not to make you miserable, because then that's not the answer, but make you understand that this is not to pursue. You have the power. So while you study this, you also understand the immense glory of your existence. You are not the body, not the mind, you are Brahman. So on one side you are negating the world, on the other side highlighting the reality, the absolute reality which is you, not as ego, but the reality within you, the essence. And with this I will conclude. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.